and welcome to the opening contest of this 3rd year anniversary special for Lone Wolf Wrestling. Hard to believe that it's March 23rd of 2023 is when I started this whole show, and hundreds of videos later, and a lot of crazy stuff has happened in the past 3 years since I started this show. We have two whole other promotions that are tied to this show since we started this thing. And people have come and gone in and out of this company since then. And we are kicking off this show with one of the future young stars of this company, who was a former hardcore champion in New Gen, Lucario. And it's also one of my favorite Pokemon. And before anybody comments, this was my best attempt at trying to make this Lucario the same way I did in New Gen. I'm not the best at trying to make some of these characters, alright? Plus, you try making a Pokemon in this game. It's a pain in the rear end. And here comes his opponent, Danny Phantom, who really didn't do anything of note in New Gen, but he's a popular superstar in the company. So we brought him up from the New Gen up to the main roster, and he was one of the participants in the Junior Heavyweight title match, number 1 contender match. The Lucario was also in, I believe. And both of these guys ended up coming up short, and Gregory Helms ended up winning that match. At least I believe he did, if I remember correctly. And let's get this 1-on-1 match between these two underway. And Lucario immediately with an arm dragged Danny there. He tried charging across the ring towards him. Into a headlock by Danny. Into the suplex, which he nails there, the Lucario. And now Danny with an armbar on Lucario. And Lucario reverses it into a shoulder tackle. Now Lucario with a headlock on Danny into the atomic drop. Now Lucario with an armbar on Danny into the neck breaker. Front flip kick there, which Lucario missed. Kick the midsection of Lucario there by Danny into a go behind. And now Danny sending Lucario into the corner. And Danny has to look out for that Aura Sphere strike and the Aura Spike that Lucario uses as his finishing maneuver. While Danny has his version of the 619, I believe, and or the Phantom Knee. That's right. Danny uses the Phantom Knee as his finisher. I like Daniel Bryan, his Psycho Knee, but you get the idea. And now Lucario suplex to Danny there. Both these two are members of the Junior Heavyweight division, but these two are able to compete for just about any title that they want to in this company. It just depends on what they want to go after, and if they have an opportunity for it. Now Lucario with a headlock on Danny. Whips him in the ropes, says Lucario. Another arm drag by Lucario there to Danny. Into the leaping elbow drop. And like I said, these two are two of the superstars that came up from New Gen along with Gregory Helms. And they wanted to make the name for themselves on the main roster. And when it was announced that this anniversary show was happening, they were the first two members of the roster to step up. They wanted to prove their mettle in front of this audience. And a 1-on-1 action and not just a 3-4-way match. And Danny just with these kicks and all these other strikes. Northern Light suplex there by Danny and the Lucario. And the Lucario flips him over. Elbow drop there by Lucario to Danny. Kick to Lucario there, and Danny with a drop kick to Lucario. Into the headlock, and Lucario reverses it into Russian leg sweep. And Lucario just a pair of punches there, and Danny reverses in one of his own Lucario there, into the armbar. Arm drag by Danny, into the knee drop to the arm of Lucario. He takes out the arm to make it harder for Lucario to use the Aura Spike. And now Danny would go behind on Lucario. Sends him into the corner. Now turns him out in the corner. Now sends him into the opposite side of the ring. Watch out, ref. Drop kick in the corner of Lucario there by Danny. Now Danny with headlock on Lucario. Into the suplex. Now Danny with the repeated elbows to the shoulders of Lucario. Shout out to the Blackpool Combat Club, into the Death Riders as they're called now. Forearm to the face of Lucario there by Danny. And another forearm there by Danny knocking down Lucario. And now Danny, this with these repeated kicks to the chest of Lucario. Shout out to Daniel Bryan, into Bryan Danielson, whichever you want to call him. And a kick to the head there. Go for cover as Danny. 1, 2, only 1 count. Running knee by Danny there. Nailing the phantom knee to Lucario. Go for cover as Danny. 1, 2, and Lucario somehow manages to kick out. And Lucario sending Danny into the ropes. Arm drag again there by Lucario. And now Lucario with the aura spike to Danny. And Lucario dragging Danny from the ropes. Going for covers Lucario. 1, 2, and Danny kicks out. And now Lucario with just a punch in midsection and a clothesline there, knocking him down. Now going for a cover is Lucario. 1, only 1 count there. And Lucario kneeling a drop kick to Danny. And now Connor will tie up between the two finally, almost 5 minutes into the match. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. And Danny sending Lucario into the ropes. Arm drag by Danny to Lucario there. And Lucario was pissed off. And Lucario just a punch to the face of Danny into the armbar. Knocks him down there, just Lucario. And the clothesline there. Side slam there to Danny by Lucario. And now Lucario with another aura spike! And just a straight just punch to the dome of Danny there by Lucario. And Lucario gets a pin off that aura strike there. Lucario pulling off the win in his first singles match on the main roster with Danny Phantom. And what a way to kick off this anniversary show between these two upstart superstars in this company. In Lucario's case, there's a reason why he was a former hardcore champion in New Gen. And if he'd stuck around in New Gen, he probably would have won other titles. But him and Danny both took the opportunity on themselves and the chance on themselves, make a name for themselves in the main roster once they were offered the chance to. The next match is Serena King taking on Princess Zelda in a rematch from all those years ago. And I am looking forward to that because after getting screwed out of being in the women's title match at Heartbreak, Zelda is livid and she wants payback against not only Sonya and Cammy, but also Serena for that loss all those years ago. And Serena is just looking forward to being 2-0 against Zelda. Either way, I'm looking forward to that match. And big congrats to Lucario for the win. And this next match is a grudge match between the first two women wrestlers we ever had compete in a match on this show. Where Serena King, the sister of Xavier and Xander and Virgil, and the aunt to Damien, takes on Zelda in one-on-one competition. And these two were in the first ever women's match we had in the company 3 years ago, something like that, at least. Their match was I think a couple weeks or so, something like that, after the first match we ever had. But they were the first ever women's match, and Serena embarrassed Zelda in that match and made her look like a jobber. And Zelda had been reminded about that for a long time, and where she mostly only ever did interviews, or she was always losing to people left and right after that match. But since then, Serena's been a world champion, Zelda's been a world champion, and former women's Money in the Bank holder. And Serena, as you can tell, is the current women's internet champion. Which I need to seriously change the name of the belt from TV to internet. I keep forgetting to do that. The fourth wall break, I've tried to record this once before. The game kept breaking and it kept glitching where Serena looked like her brother Xavier, which was weird. I posted a YouTube short of it recently. But it looks like so far the game isn't broken this time. It's just one of those weird moments where 2K14 was having an issue. But either way. As far as this match goes, I'm rooting for Serena like I was back then. But at the same time, Zelda's looking for redemption because, you know, how embarrassing it made her look when she lost that match against Serena all those months ago. I'm looking forward to this match either way. And so is Zelda. And let's get this one-on-one match underway between these two ladies. Drop kick by Zelda immediately start off. Chop to the chest. And a punch, a chop, and another drop kick by Zelda. Already on the offensive. Kind of the opposite of what happened the first time these two faced each other, where it was Zarina who was all over Zelda, making a good first impression for herself anyways, and making Zelda look bad. Drop toe hold by Zarina there to Zelda. Now Zarina whipping Zelda into the corner. Knees to the face of Zelda there by Zarina. And also one benefit to Zelda is at least another fourth wall break is that this is a way newer game than SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Nothing against that game, it's a good game, but freaking... Unless you have like the characters like fully like leveled up, because you have to level up stats and everything, they move like tortoises. Northern Light suplex by Zarina. And Zarina with headlock and just repeated kicks to the face of Zelda here. And Zarina try to give a punch, but Zelda blocks it. And then a headlock by Zelda, but she gets whipped in the corner by Zarina, who nails Zelda with another double knees to the face. And just more repeated kicks to the face of Princess Zelda. Dual chops there, and a kick knocking her in the corner by Zarina there to Zelda. And now Zarina going for this weird rope submission that her brothers like to use. Well, at least Xavier and Xander do. I don't know about Virgil. We haven't seen him in a while. I know he's still has making a whole thing that he's trying to go after and eliminate the unwashed. And now Zelda just grinding her knee against Zarina's face. And it's still hard for me to believe that Zelda is a former world champion. That was a surprise to everybody when she won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then cashed it in later on that night. It's crazy, I think. Zelda definitely proved everybody wrong when it was always saying how she was a jobber, and now Zarina putting Zelda in the corner again. And now she's picking up Zelda, who just shoves her off. Armbar by Zarina and Zelda. And Zarina with the neck breaker to Zelda. And now Zarina doing the repeated elbows to the shoulders like her brother Xavier does. And Zelda with a reversal and Zarina there. And a shot to the back. And another shot to the back. And Zelda with a suplex. Zarina there. And another kick to the back of Zarina there by Zelda. And a stomp to the arm. And Zelda just putting the boots to Zarina there. Russian leg sweep. And Zarina just kicking her off there. And Zarina with a punch and a kick knocking her up. Slingshot. Oh, nope. And Zarina with a twisting neckbreaker up to Zelda after she was dangling over the top rope. And now Zarina going for the Anaconda Vice. This signature submission of the entire King family and CM Punk. And now Zarina then a dual chop to Zelda and now has her up for the GTS! Just like her brothers and Damien. Go for cover. 1, 2, and Zelda kicks out. Zelda with a chop and a punch. Zarina blocking that other chop attempt. And Zarina nailing Zelda the DDT. And there's more repeated elbows to the shoulders and the arm is Zelda there. And Zarina picking Zelda back up. Zelda blocked it, kicked it into a dragon screw. And now Zelda being, I don't know what the heck's going on with her there. Now Zarina with a headlock into a go behind then Zelda. Suplex by Zarina there, Zelda. And now just more elbows to the shoulders, Zelda. Really working that arm. Just Zarina. And another shot to the back, the kick there is Zelda. And now Zarina with a drop kick to the back of Zelda. Almost knocking her into the left. Heel kick. And another drop kick. One of the two. And now Zarina with the final notice flatliner straight from her brother Xavier's. Now Zarina going for cover and Zelda. 1, 2, and Zarina is 2-0 against Zelda. Unfortunately for Zelda. Ironically enough, that was actually one of the moves Zarina used to beat her the first time. That and the King's Clash, which I'm surprised we didn't even see. But Zarina once again beating Zelda in one-on-one action. Which means Zelda's going to have to wait till the next anniversary show if we can try and get payback. As you know, this shit between the two of them ain't over until Zelda finally gets a win over Zarina. Like, who in the hell knows when that's going to happen? But it's because of moves like that, final notice flatliner, why Zarina and Xavier are holding championships right now. The next match is a tag team match between the Supremacy and the Roadhouse Soldiers. The Supremacy accepted the Roadhouse Soldiers' challenge for a non-title tag match. Just prove which one of them is the better teams on the roster. Lord knows the supremacy if they manage to pull a win out their ass after being gone for a while. It'd be really huge for them. And it'd be shocking since the Roadhouse Soldiers literally just recently became the new tag team champions. And other reasons why the Rednecks FTW are disbanded for a whole year. Either way, looking forward to that match. And this next contest is a tag team match between the newly crowned tag team champions of the main roster, the Roadhouse Soldiers, who defeated the Rednecks FTW at Heartbreak to win these titles finally. And now they are not only the New Gen Tag Team Champions still, but they are also the main roster Tag Team Champions. And unfortunately for the Rednecks, they are broken up for an entire year. And from what I was told, Jay's going to be sticking around doing his thing as singles guy. Well, I believe Jay informed everybody that Zeke is going to be staying home at the farm. Because there's no point in both of them showing up to the company if they're not a tag team for anymore, at least for the next year. Which sucks because the Rednecks have won more tag titles than anybody in this company. But that's what happens when they agreed to the terms of that match they had with the Roadhouse Soldiers with the tag titles. And here comes a former tag team champions, the Supremacy, the freaking former hardcore champion Bojack, and the current CIW champion Majin motherfucking Buu, and also former LWW Internet and Intergalactic champion, in Buu's case as well. And also, Buu is also former Magnation Blue champion and Galactic champion back today, and former Magnation champion as well. And Bojack is also a tag team champion in the Magnation with Buu, conveniently enough. And this is a tag team match I've been looking forward to for a while. And let's get this tag team match between these two teams underway. And Tommy immediately coming out the gate was swinging. And now Buu with a suplex to Tommy. Buu and Bojack haven't competed in quite some time. So this is their first match teaming together. Probably their first match in quite some time. Because they've been doing their own things in other places. Like how Boo's new CIW World Heavyweight Champion after defeating Sephiroth. After Sephiroth defeated Sagat for that title. Because Boo cashed in an opportunity that he had for the title. And Tommy just dropping Boo with a DDT. And an elbow to the back of the head of Boo there. And now Boo runs over and tags in Bojack. Now Bojack with a headlock on Tommy. And just slams him down. And now Bojack just beating the shit out of Tommy here. And now Bojack sending Tommy into the corner. Now, weird suplex and then just slamming him down there as Bojack to Tommy. Now Bojack just repeated punches, but he misses with that one. And Tommy with a clothesline taking down the former hardcore champion. And Bojack dodging over Tom trying to go there. Now Tommy with a headlock on Bojack. Sends him into the corner. Tags in his partner ATG. And now after ropes, drop, toe hold, and elbow to the back, which is how they won the tag titles over the Rednecks. And Tommy just going to the outside. Well, ATG just wiped out Boo and was distracted. Then Bojack taking advantage. And Bojack with a suplex to ATG there. And like I said, the Supremacy is former tag team champions in Magnation, TAW, and this company. Slingshot suplex into the backbreaker there by Bojack. That's the first time I've ever seen him do that before. Now Bojack tags in the current CIW World Heavyweight Champion Majin Buu, who gets hurled across the ring at ATG and just gets immediately right back up. And ATG is just talking shit to Bojack there. And Boo just beating up Tommy for some reason. And ATG with a suplex there to Boo. And now ATG with an elbow drop to the chest of Boo there. And Tommy is hyped about that. ATG with a kick and a punch to Boo there, who blocks that punch, and now with a headlock on Boo on ATG into the go behind, into the suplex. And now Boo walks over, just tags in Bojack back in this match, And Tommy blocks a punch from Bojack there, and a flurry of punches and tries to go for the kick there to ATG, but Bojack reverses into a belly-to-back suplex. And now Bojack just beating the shit out of ATG some more. Now Bojack picking up ATG, and ATG with an armbar on Bojack into the neckbreaker. And ATG with a kick and a punch and a go behind on Bojack, who just flips him over. And ATG towers over everybody in this match because he's like 7 feet tall. And Bojack just getting sent to the outside of the ring there by ATG. Now ATG's following Bojack to the outside, and Tommy's right there, coming in to help his tag team partner. And now Tommy whipping Bojack back into the ring. Reps it to a count of 3. Now ATG's back in the ring. Shoulder tackle there to Bojack. And an elbow drop. And another elbow drop there by ATG to Bojack. Now ATG with a DDT to Bojack as well. Bojack just getting manhandled here by the big guy. And now Tommy's been tagged back in. And Bojack just a belly-to-belly suplex to Tommy. He's like, you think I give a crap about you getting tagged in? He's like, take this suplex, bitch. And now just pummeling Tommy there. Those fists that he was raining down on Tommy's face. And Tommy just punching Bojack off there. And now Luthez Press just repeatedly punching Bojack in the face. It's payback for those repeated punches before by Tommy. And Tommy getting a 2 count on Bojack there as he kicked out. And here's the classic Supremacy tag team maneuver there. Just Bojack just chopping Tommy's chest while Boo held on to him and nailing an elbow to the back of Tommy there. Spear by Bojack! One of the most devastating spears in the business. He can cut people in half. That spear. Bojack going for cover. 1! Only a 1 count there. Gonna take a lot more than that, Bojack. Or I might just take 1. Unbound! The Tommy there. And now Boo running interference to take out ATG. And Bojack the cover, and Tommy kicks out somehow. He got hit by a spear and an unbound there. And Tommy still kicks out of that pin attempt by Bojack and the suplex by Bojack there. And Tommy just shoves him off. And Bojack with another belly-to-belly suplex. And now Bojack just beating the shit out of Tommy some more. I know Tommy, he's a tough dude from Texas, but freaking I don't know how much more punishment Tommy can take from the Supremacy here. Needs a tag in ATG, that's for sure. And here comes a CIW champion. And now Bojack, the classic Magnation drop toe hold and an elbow to the back. And now Tommy just shoving Boo off him. Man, he kicked the midsection. And another one there. And now Tommy with the repeated punches to Boo here. And the wind-up punch. Straight from behind Texas to Boo. Almost sending him flying out of the ring there. Now Tommy going for cover on Boo. 1, 2. And ATG took out Bojack. And Boo kicks out at 2. Bulldog there by Tommy to Boo. And Bojack just whipping ATG back to the ring. Tommy going to the top turnbuckle. What the fuck was that, Tommy? And now Boo's back up. And now Boo with an angle slam there to Tommy. Bojack is hyped about that. And now Boo with a backbreaker to Tommy there. And now Boo tried to go for something there, but Tommy caught him with a roll-up. 1. And Boo kicks out at 1. It's like freaking Boo knows from experience what that's like using the roll-up. Because he's won matches with a roll-up in the past, because that was just classic Supremacy shit. And ATG fucks up the freaking quick time event there. Great job there, ATG. And Boo with an elbow to the face of the big guy. And Boo just standing in the corner, never mind, there he is, tagging in Bojack there. Bojack trying to get something about ATG, reversed it with a discus clothesline after the go behind there. Shout out to Brody Lee, rest in peace. And ATG whiffing the springboard. Good job, Doug. And Bojack going for cover on ATG, but his foot was by the ropes because he's a tall motherfucker. And another spear to ATG there by Bojack. And ATG just no-sells the spear. And now Bojack an armbar on ATG and a headbutt to the shoulder. And now Bojack setting up for another unbound, and Boo is just hyped up in the corner. And Bojack with the unbound ATG once again. And now Bojack comes for cover on ATG. 2. And ATG somehow kicks out of the second Unbound. And Bojack just knocking down the big guy after that clothesline, after the pair of punches. And Bojack over a cover again on ATG. One, and Tommy breaks it up. And now the Supremacy ganging up on ATG, even though Boo's not the illegal person here. I don't know what the hell happened there. I don't know if the ref broke that up or what, but Bojack nailing ATG with a belly suplex. And ATG just punching Bojack off. Shoulder tackle by ATG there to Bojack. And ATG going for cover on Bojack. One, only one count. Boo broke up the pin there, and Bojack kicked out. And now ATG getting sent into the corner, and Bojack getting sent to the outside by Tommy there. And now they're both awake. And ATG now going to the outside, probably because of Boo. And Boo sending ATG back in the ring. And now Bojack going to the outside for reasons. And now he's back in the ring. And ATG just wiping out Boo there. And ATG reversing whenever Bojack tried to go over there and do a headlock. And then missed the discus clothesline. Springboard crossbody there by ATG to Bojack. Going for covers ATG. One. And Boo broke it up there. And now Boo and Bojack just ganging up on ATG. And now ATG with a torture rack to Boo. But Bojack saved his partner there. And Boo isn't even a legal person there anyways. Sidewalk slam there by Bojack to ATG. Going for a cover is Bojack. And not even one count because Tommy broke it up. And ATG sending Bojack into the ropes after getting punched once. And Bojack with another belly-to-belly suplex to Tommy. I mean ATG there, sorry. And now Bojack just punching the shit out of ATG some more. Bojack and Boo want to remind everybody why they were tag team champions back in the day. And another spear by Bojack to ATG. They want to earn themselves an opportunity to possibly become a two-time tag team champion in this company. One, two... And Bojack gets the win over ATG with the spear. What are we turning by the Supremacy here? Bojack and Boo get the win of the current tag team champions. And Bojack winning after multiple spears and pins ATG. Just crazy. Because Tommy took a sweet-ass time trying to break up that pin attempt. But the Supremacy have made their intentions clear. They want the tag team titles. And they are back, and they are determined more than ever to bring some gold back to the Supremacy, since Jack 6 was unable to bring the World Heavyweight Championship back to their group. But the next match, speaking of Jack 6, is Jack taking on Kevin Steen. Hopefully they don't murder each other. That's all I can say about that. Congrats on the win, Boo and Bojack. You deserved it. And I'm glad you're back in the company. And this next match on this anniversary special for Lone Wolf Wrestling's 3rd anniversary, for turning 3 years old, which is crazy to think it's been 3 years since I started this whole thing. Jack 6, the former World Heavyweight Champion, takes on Kevin Steen, who's a former U.S. champion, in this company at least. And this is a match I would love to see, especially if it's for a title someday in the future. With these two guys who are... And I know for a fact Kevin Steen is somebody who I can see as a world champion in this company. He's been a champion in everywhere else he's been at, pretty much. And so has Jack 6. And like I said, this is a match between two guys who both have severe anger problems in the heyday. In Jack 6's case, still does. And both these two like freaking destroying people and winning championships. And like I said, this is a match I look forward to someday hopefully happening for a title in the future. Hopefully. And Jack 6 still has a title match against Xavier King for the Rumble World Heavyweight Championship. That'll happen sometime in the future, hopefully. Whenever I have time to record that 4th wall break. But in the meantime, we have this match, which is a dream match for me. Seeing Kevin Steen, one of my favorite Ring of Honor wrestlers, and also somebody I like in WWE that I wish they would use more and better, personally. Taking on somebody who I liked ever since I first seen him in the Mag Nation. At least when he wasn't being an asshole. That's just Jack 6 on an everyday basis, but you get the idea. This is a match I'm looking forward to watching and commentating. And let's get this dream match underway between these two. A continental tie between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere, at least, except in the case that the fact that Jack 6 is involved. Suplex by Jack 6 to Kevin Steen there. Just want to make it a note that none of the matches on this card really affect any standings anybody's in right now. It really doesn't have anything to do with the storyline, but might lead potential storylines down in the future date. Sorry, boards. And Jack 6 just punching Kevin Steen in the face there. And now Jack 6 has Kevin Steen up for a powerbomb, which he just nails Kevin Steen there. And now just punching the hell out of Kevin Steen. Jack 6 is still livid after losing that world title match to Jesus and recently at Heartbreak at the time of this recording. He's just been livid ever since he lost that title. And he also been livid at Marcus Creed for helping Jesus win in a way. You get the idea. Now Kevin Steen reversal of Jack 6 right over there into a shoulder tackle. Jack 6 flipping Steen over there. And now another collar elbow tie up between the two. Sean's going to be happy somewhere. Except for the fact that Jack 6 is involved, like I said. Another suplex there by Jack 6 to Kevin Steen. Now Jack 6 is beating the shit out of Kevin Steen here. Jack 6 missing that strike there. Kevin Steen with kick midsection of Jack 6. Sends him into the corner. Kick to the back of Jack 6 there. Now Kevin Steen off the ropes. Senton to Jack 6 there. They're going for a cover off the Senton Steen. Not even a 1 count. It's going to take a lot more than that to beat the former World Heavyweight Champion Steen. And just knocking him down after those repeated punches there. Jack 6 blocking the chop from Steen. And Steen reversing the clothesline attempt into an arm drag. Heel kick there by Steen. Jack 6 with a flurry of punches into a headlock. And Jack 6 sending Kevin Steen in the corner. Kick to Steen there in the corner there. Another kick to Steen in the corner there. And now Jack 6 just grinding his knee against Kevin Steen's face. And now Jack 6 dragging Kevin Steen away from the ropes. Going for a cover is Jack 6. Not even a 1 count. It's going to take more than that, Jack. And now Jack 6 with a running power slam to Steen there. Going for a cover, which he's won with before in the past. 2! And Steen kicks out. And Jack 6 sending Kevin Steen to the outside, just shit-canning him to the floor. And yes, fourth wall break, I'm reusing the original Final Hunt arena for this special, because I want to. I have to get use out of this arena when I'm not using it, somehow. And Steen just reversing with Jack 6 trying to go for there on the outside into a face buster. And now Jack 6 has Steen up for a torture rack. Even though he should know that he can't make Steen tap out on the outside of the ring. But he can do a lot of damage to Kevin Steen, because Steen has a history of back problems, as far as I know. Now that's up to a count of 5. Jack 6 rolled into the ring to break up the count. And now they're both back in the ring. And now Steen's just back on the outside. And Jack 6 goes back outside, and Steen is just running around the ring, running around from Jack 6. And now Jack's back in the ring. Punch the face. Jack 6 there, a pair of punches there. And now Jack 6 with the Megaton. Punch to Kevin Steen there. Number covers Jack 6. 1, 2, and Steen kicks out. And now Jack 6 with a headlock on Kevin Steen. Into the body slam. And now Jack's just raining down more punches to Kevin Steen's face. And now Jack 6 going for another cover. 1, 2, and Steen kicks out again. Punch to face of Steen there by Jack 6. And now a backbreaker to Kevin Steen there by Jack 6. And Steen just shoving Jack 6 off. Kicked the midsection of Jack 6 by Steen. Into the armbar. German suplex to Jack 6 by Kevin Steen. You don't see that very often. Usually it's Jack 6 delivering the suplexes. And now Steen goes for cover after the German suplex. Not even a 1 count, because he took forever. DDT by Kevin Steen there to Jack 6. And knee in the midsection of Steen there by Jack 6. Reversal by Kevin Steen and a shot to the back of Jack 6 there. And another DDT to Jack 6. And now Kevin Steen picking up Jack 6. Has him up for the F5 the Jack 6, which is probably weird. It's usually Jack 6 the one delivering the F5 to somebody. Or as he calls it, the F6. Now Steen go for cover. One, not even a one count. Held up. Fuck. And Kevin blocks a punch from Jack 6. And now Steen setting it up for the package pile driver. And he nails it. And now Steen dragging Jack 6 away from the ropes off the package pile driver. And Jack 6 just no-sells that shit. Go behind by Kevin Steen on Jack 6 and just a slap to the back of the head. I don't think you want to piss off the guy that literally didn't even get a one count off the F5 and didn't even get a pin attempt on the freaking package pile driver, Steen, and a DDT from the middle rope and a knee to the back. Jack 6 is a tough son of a bitch. And he was able to freaking just no-sell the package pile driver and a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Steen. And another running senton there. Going for cover Steen again. 1, 2, and Kevin Steen beats the pin of a Jack 6 off the senton. I don't know how the hell Steen's able to pull that pin and fall off with that senton. Either he must have been able to finally knock Jack 6 out with that move, or Jack 6 was just like sick and tired of this crap and just wanted to be done with it. I wouldn't be surprised because Jack 6, whom I know thinking was not happy about having to be here. Not that he has a problem with the company, it's just that he really wants to get that world title back. Either way, Kevin Steen pulls off a huge win over a former World Heavyweight Champion. And it took an F5, package pile driver, and a senton to beat him. But big win for Kevin Steen. Sending a message to the management that Kevin Steen is definitely world champion material, which I already knew, and so did a lot of other people. But the next match is the triple threat match between the first 3 women's champions of this company. Which is Nessa, Rainbow Dash, and Misty. And it's going to be crazy. And this is the triple threat match between the first ever women's champions that we had in this company's history. Nessa was technically the first one, and then after she held that belt for a week, she lost it to Rainbow Dash, who held it for 210 days. And then she lost it to Misty, who held it for a while, and then Misty lost it to Nessa. Or Zarina King, one of the two. Either way, this is the first match Rainbow Dash has had in months. And it's been a long time since we've seen any of these 3 women. And it's nice that they've able to come back, because like I said, it's been a long time since we've seen any of these 3. And they are looking to remind everybody why they were the first 3 champions that this company ever had. Lord knows I know all 3 of these women want to have a shot at Cammy, the current women's champion, after she defeated Dawn after Zelda was taken out by somebody who we all assume was Sonya, but you know how that is. Nobody's fessing up to the crime. And you know these 3 would love to be able to get an opportunity to win the championship again. Because even though the Undisputed Women's Championship is a whole new ballot because it's the unified championship of the Queen and New Gen and Queen of Worlds Championships, just like in the Mag Nation how they kept changing the main title name in that company, we basically still count these 3 as former women's champions like they did, because a lot of the people who held the championship back then saves a lot of stress, a lot of other bull crap we really don't want to deal with, because we have enough shit going on in this company as is. And here comes Misty, who had one of the probably most dominant reigns in the championship ever, because she was beating every motherfucker that stepped up to her. It's like I said, I forget if it was Zarina or if it was Nessa who beat her, but it was just crazy when Misty was finally able to do what nobody else was able to do, and Rainbow Dash's 210-day reign as the first women's champion. Well, technically second, but you get the idea. Just like how Xavier's is the first officially recognized world champion, even though Scorpion had the belt before him, but you know how that is. And I'm looking forward to this match, seeing these 3 wrestle again. It's going to be crazy to see who wins. And let's get this triple threat match underway between these 3. And immediately Nessa with the kicks and Rainbow Dash getting one in of her own, and so did Misty. And Nessa just repeatedly chopping Misty's chest while Rainbow Dash held her. And all three of these women have a history with each other because they all were feuding over the women's championship at one point or another. Nessa with a meeting of the minds to Misty and Rainbow Dash. And now Rainbow Dash and Misty double teaming Nessa again. And Misty and Nessa are both from Pokemon, so you'd think they would gang up on the freaking anthropomorphic pony, but they're not for some reason. Rainbow Dash and Misty just tripping up Nessa there. This weird ass suplex that looks like they borrowed that straight from the Hardy Boys. And now Rainbow Dash and Misty ganging up on Nessa again. And now they're doing this weird freaking suplex again. Shout out to the Hardy Boys, by the way. Apparently Jeff Hardy just turned 47 years old recently or something like that. And Rainbow Dash getting some kicks in there. Arm drag to Nessa there by Rainbow Dash. And Misty going for a single leg Boston Crab on Nessa, and Rainbow Dash broke that up. And Misty tried to go for a kick there, but Rainbow Dash blocked it, but just gets shoved off. And they both try to go for a drop kick or whatever the hell that was, but they missed at the same time. And now the Pokemon characters are ganging up on the horse, and freaking they nailed her with a DDT. And Hurricane Rana hit him Nessa by Rainbow Dash. And Nessa punching Rainbow Dash off, and Nessa with an elbow to the face of Misty into a headlock. And now Nessa and Rainbow Dash double teaming Misty. Leaping kick there by Nessa, but while Misty was being held in place by Rainbow Dash. Calling up a tap between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. Go behind by RD. And the headlock by Nessa. Now Rainbow Dash and Nessa with a DDT to Misty. And Misty just tripping up Nessa there. And Nessa with a kip up. And Misty just goes right back at it to Rainbow Dash. And now a DDT to Misty there by Nessa and Rainbow. And Misty just punching Nessa off there. And kicked the midsection of Rainbow Dash by Misty. And Nessa missing whatever the hell that was, but she barely grazed Misty with whatever that was. Stomped to the arm of Misty by Rainbow Dash. And Rainbow Dash just a kick to the lower back of Misty there by RD. Nessa's just watching. And Nessa tried to go for something here, but Rainbow Dash flips her over. Misty with the springboard, which she barely hit Rainbow Dash with, and just didn't phase her at all with. And Rainbow Dash sending Nessa into the corner. And freaking Sonic Rainbow there by Rainbow Dash to Nessa. And Misty with dragging Nessa to the middle of the ring and breaking up the pin attempt. And then Misty with headlock on Rainbow Dash. And Nessa and Misty ganging up on RD again. And then Misty with a pair of chops. Well, 3 chops, I mean, with Rainbow Dash chest. Bulldog by Misty and RD there. Hurricane Rana to Misty there by Nessa. And Nessa just slamming Misty down by her knee. And now Nessa with a running bulldog to Misty. And Misty shoving Nessa off there. Hurricane Rana just launching her halfway across the ring. And just a kick to the leg of Misty there by Nessa. Oh god, now Nessa on the outside. Springboard! Which she nailed to RD. Well, that RD was telling Misty to get up, and RD wasn't paying attention. And Nessa reverses whatever. RD tried to go over there and kick the midsection. And Misty tried to go for the Bubble Beam Stunner. And Hurricane Rana by RD there to Misty. Because all these three know each other so well since they're reversing each other's finishers somewhat. And Misty with a chop to the chest and a drop kick to RD. Jumping clothesline, which she nails. And Misty just slamming RD's arm against the ring, which is this move in wrestling. Super kick by Misty there to RD. And Nessa going for a cover, trying to steal the win, but Misty broke up the pin attempt. Go behind by Misty, knee to the back. And Rainbow Dash. Spinning kick there to Misty. Spinning hurricane kick, I mean, you know what I mean. I think that freaking Angemon used on Captain America years ago. Rainbow Dash going for a cover, but Nessa broke that up. Hurricane Rana again by RD to Misty. Oh god, now RD going to the outside. Springboard, which she nailed. And Nessa with the springboard, which she somewhat nailed. And a springboard by RD, which she nailed again. Everybody now going for springboards. What is this, like freaking X Division match? And now Misty getting whipped in the corner by RD. Another Sonic Rainboom kick there by fucking Rainbow Dash off the top turnbuckle. And the Rainbow Dash going for a cover. 1 and 2, and Nessa broke it up after 2. And the Rainbow Dash sending Misty into the corner. And Misty with a pair of elbows to face the Rainbow Dash when she tried to go for something there. Hurricane Rana by Nessa to RD there. And Nessa picking up Rainbow Dash. Bubble beam started by Misty to Rainbow Dash. Now Misty dragging Rainbow Dash from the ropes. Going for cover is Misty. 1, and Nessa broke up the pin attempt there. And now Nessa with a suplex into the powerbomb. Rainbow Dash and Misty just collapsing for some reason. Going for cover is Nessa. 1, 2, and Nessa gets the pin on Rainbow Dash after Misty just collapsed for some reason. I think she was clutching her leg there for a minute. I think she might have injured her leg somehow. I don't know what the hell happened there with Misty. Freaking, she was standing in one moment, she just freaking collapsed out of nowhere. Might need to get a doctor. I think she got knocked out by freaking Rainbow Dash somehow. When Nessa freaking went to go for that powerbomb that she won with, somehow she inadvertently hit Misty and freaking knocked her out, I guess. But Nessa's scoring the win over Misty and Rainbow in this match. And that is, for a first match back, that is big for Nessa. Definitely sends a message to the rest of the roster that she's here to remind everybody why she's a former women's champion. The next match, which is the main event of this special, is Scorpion taking on Xavier's King, the first two guys who had first ever match that was ever uploaded to the channel for this company. Which is going to be crazy, because you know Scorpion wants to get payback against Xavier's for that loss all those months ago. And I cannot wait. And this is the main event of this 3-year anniversary special, where the global champion and the LWW Rumble champion Xavier's King takes on Scorpion, the man he beat to become the first official World Heavyweight Champion of this company. Way the hell back when this whole thing started 3 years ago. Which is still is crazy that it's been 3 years. Been an insane 3 years for this company, and we still intend to be around for quite some time. Well, I know Xavier is going to be around for quite some time, that's for sure. And he is the only superstar in this company that be holding 2 championships at the same time, besides much more, over on New Gen. And Xavier and Scorpion have a bit of a history. Scorpion lost the World Heavyweight Championship that he won during a house show that we ain't talking about for reasons that I can't go into, because I was told I wasn't allowed to say anything about it because of the NDA. But Scorpion was the original World Heavyweight Champion way the hell back in the day, but then he lost it to Xavier in the house show. And Scorpion is a former tag team champion when he was teaming with Sub-Zero. Now he's been teaming with Reptile, even though we haven't seen them as a team in quite some time. We haven't seen Scorpion in quite some time. He's been busy dealing with stuff in the Netherrealm and stuff. And now Scorpion's here to reignite his old feud with Xavier. Like I said, 3 years ago, these two had their first ever match in this company's history, and now they're running it back. And let's get this main event underway between these two former rivals. And now Xavier sending Scorpion in the ropes. Body slam there by Xavier to Scorpion. And Scorpion blocking this punch from Xavier into the headlock, into the neck breaker. And a leg drop there by Scorpion. Ever since Xavier beat Scorpion to become the World Heavyweight Champion and then beat him in the first ever video that was released to Lone Wolf Wrestling onto the channel, Scorpion hasn't been anywhere near the World Heavyweight Championship. But if Scorpion manages to pull off a win over Xavier in this match, even though, like I said earlier, things that happen in the show really won't affect any ongoing storylines at the time being. Who knows? It might come up in the future. If Xavier is still the global champion in the future, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Another double knees to the face of Scorpion there by Xavier. And now Xavier with an armbar on Scorpion. And just punches him down. And misses the knee drop there to Xavier. kicked the midsection of Scorpion. Again, more kicks by Xavius. And Scorpion now with a flurry of punches to Xavius. And now Scorpion sending Xavius into a sidewalk slam. Nice to see that Scorpion doesn't have any ring rust, for the most part. Gut buster there to Xavius by Scorpion. And just punching him and knocking him in the ropes. And Xavius just dumping Scorpion on the outside almost. Scorpion just jumping off the apron there, avoiding getting hit off the apron by Xavius. And the Continental tap between the two. Sean's going to be happy somewhere. And Xavius with an armbar on Scorpion. Well, that's one way to do an arm drag. And now Xavius with repeated elbows to the shoulders of Scorpion. Kicked the midsection of Scorpion. And there's more kicks and misses the enziguri to Xavius. And Scorpion with a DDT to Xavius there after dodging the enziguri. And a shot to the back. Russian leg sweep to Xavius there by Scorpion. And Xavius just punching him off. Heel kick there into a drop kick by Xavius to Scorpion. Another DDT by Scorpion to Xavius. And Xavius just punching Scorpion off again. And that time nailing the heel kick into a single leg drop kick. And Scorpion just punching him off. And a headlock by Scorpion and Xavius, who just trips him up. And the knee drop. And another knee drop there. And Xavius with a headlock on Scorpion, who just tosses him off. And now Scorpion picking up Xavius. And has him set up for the get over here spine buster. Going for a cover, Scorpion. 1, 2, and Xavius kicks out. And now Scorpion sending Xavius in the ropes. Catches him, has him up for the tombstone that he likes to use, and nails it to Xavius the Scorpion. His feet's by the ropes. His feet's by the ropes. Like I said, Scorpion was so eager to go for that pin and just punching Xavius into the corner there. And another sidewalk slam there by Scorpion. Xavius. But Scorpion was so eager to get the pinfall attempt off that tombstone that he didn't notice that Xavius' feet was by the ropes. And Xavius is back up and just tosses him off. And now Xavius picking up Scorpion. Kicked the midsection of Scorpion there. Whoops him into the ropes. Drop kick. Drop kick by Xavius. And Xavius catches him with the neck breaker. Go over and cover Xavius. 1, 2, and Scorpion kicks out. Kick the midsection of Scorpion by Xavius. And Xavius, final notice flatliner. The Scorpion. Go over and cover Xavius. 1, 2, and Scorpion kicks out. DDT by Scorpion there to Xavius. And now Scorpion go for cover. 1, 2, and Xavius kicks out. Headlock by Scorpion on Xavius. Boot to the face of Xavius there by Scorpion. Go over cover his Scorpion again. 1, 2, and Xavius kicks out again. Headlock by Scorpion on Xavius. Into the gut buster. And a leg drop to Xavius there by Scorpion. And now Scorpion picking up Xavius. And then has him up for another get over here spine buster. And now Scorpion over covering Xavius. 1, 2, and Scorpion gets the pin over Xavius this time. Holy crap. The first match back and Scorpion gets a pin over the current global champion. Now these two are 1-1 as far as the record between the two of them go. Just crazy. Scorpion actually managed to pin Xavius there. Just crazy. First match back, and Xavius gets Scorpion gets a huge win over a current champion. If you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I will see you in the next one. And thank you for supporting this show for 3 years. Those who see this, and those who have been watching. I'll see you later. Peace!